Jimmy Thang from Maximum PC here at GDC 2015. I'm here at CryEngine's booth, speaking with David Bowman, right?
Yep.
And David, I just had a chance to try out a T-Rex Crescent Bay demo, and I gotta say this is one of the best virtual reality experiences I've had. Can you tell the listeners at home what it's about a little bit?
Certainly. We did a demo, I think it was back in 2001, showing what we could do with graphics, and it featured Dinosaur Island. And we wanted to sort of say, well, what if we took that content, brought it up to the modern era of virtual reality with the CryEngine, all the new bells and whistles, and what would it look like, what would it feel like? So we started that demo project, and people got so excited by it that we've turned it into a 3.5-minute demo for GDC, collaborating with Oculus on it.
And one of the things that makes it so special is just the fidelity of it. So it takes place in like a little cave, and all around you are, I guess, big dinosaur eggs.
Right, and it's from the perspective of being a baby dinosaur.
Oh, okay.
So if you've just hatched as a baby dinosaur, your mom comes running over to just investigate. That's a very intimidating experience when she's breathing right in your face, smelling you, figuring out who you are. At that moment, by the way, if you start tilting your head to the left and to the right, she'll mimic you. So that's sort of the mother-child bonding relationship we're trying to get across right there.
I gotta say also, when I was wearing the headset and the T-Rex looked at me and started growling, it literally sent a shock to my system, and I just kind of flicked back a little bit.
We've had a variety of responses. We get that stoic gamer, I'm not going to flinch, and then they jump back, all the way to we've had a few people scream, and we've had a couple of people crouch down to hide behind the egg, because it really does feel like you're there. That's one of the strengths of VR, is that the immersiveness, the sense of place, of being in a real space.
Gotcha. And obviously, Crytek is known for the CryEngine, which is known to be powering Crysis.
Yes.
And you guys make very beautiful looking games.
We do environments better than anybody. Our richness, the lushness, the jungle environment especially is one that I'll say we've mastered. I mean, we make you believe you're going to be sweating and immersed in an area that is just tropical beyond belief, and that's a richness of environment that's hard for other engines to do.
Yeah, and the level of detail, I really can't understate it. What you said right there was exactly true. I have to ask, what in the unit that I played, what hardware was that demo running on?
We're not allowed to talk about the specifications at this point.
Okay.
It is obviously a good machine, but this was a demo that we put together over the past few weeks, so it hasn't been optimized, so the hardware specifications aren't really the relevant point. It's the Crescent Bay headset that makes it all possible. So it's the quality of the head tracking, it's the fidelity of the visuals, the ability for us to give you an image that makes your eye feel comfortable. You felt no nausea in that, right? You felt very comfortable. But
at the same time, I think the nausea comes when there's like locomotion going on when you're moving, and that was kind of like a standing demo, and you didn't really...
Well, any disconnect between what your eye perceives and your inner ear causes problems, and what you would not have been able to swing your head around in the way that you were doing without causing some discomfort in the cast.
That's true, that's true.
And with what you saw in today's demonstration, we're confident that we've nailed down what we need to allow people to have a great experience, the average person to have a great experience, and to believe they're in a real space at the same time. So between the technology really improving and becoming capable of being a comfortable experience, and our ability to create really graphic, deep space presence and sense, I think it's a natural fit for our technology and for this new technology. CryEngine combined with the Oculus is a really good fit.
So the T-Rex demo, is that just a demo, or might it evolve into a game?
It's 3.5 minutes of experimentation and lessons learned. The team that's done it is super excited. We would love to use this information on future projects. We're not talking yet about that. We have to go back from GDC and say, what did we learn? Let's get this all documented. Let's figure out how eventually to put it back into the CryEngine itself. And then also, how do we utilize this experience in the best possible way? So we're going to continue to prototype. We're not done with VR, not at all. We just want to figure out exactly which angle we want to take on it.
So, obviously you guys are very invested in VR. Okay, there's a lot to talk about on the subject, but did you guys have to do anything different to render to a VR headset?
So
the scaling, is the scaling different? I mean,
when we started, we thought this would be simple because Crysis 2, we basically had a stereoscopic view. We thought, well, we'll just take our stereoscopic work that we had applied for
NVIDIA
space.
3D vision, right?
Yeah,
so
and we will, we'll be able, this will be a cakewalk for us. And we were able to quickly get it running, but something wasn't quite right. It just didn't feel right. The distances didn't feel good. The depth didn't feel quite right. We didn't have it dialed in, and we struggled for quite a while trying to figure out what that was. And then with Oculus sending engineers over to help us see exactly what we're doing, with us coordinating with them, combining that knowledge, we figured out quickly, you know what? Our rendering pipeline is super fast and super powerful, but you have to change a few things in order to make it support VR in the way that feels comfortable, feels natural for people, for the way they process information. And we actually had overcomplicated the process. Because we thought we would simply map our old system to the new technology, and then we started following that and say, okay, well, we'll solve it this way by adding and adding and adding. What we actually had to do was take away, simplify, and clean that up. And Oculus helped us figure that out. Bottom line, yes, it was complicated, but we overcomplicated it ourselves just because we were trying to make it harder on ourselves because we thought, well, we had to do it this way. This is also new. I think everybody's learning.
Sure, I was going to say, like, I think the language is starting to be formed right now, right?
It is. Language. I mean, a good example of language problems is what do you call these experiences, right? We have games,
sure.
We have movies, and this VR thing is right there, sort of in the middle. You can be very, very passive, or you can head towards much more interactivity. But I think the sweet spot is going to be right there in the middle, and we need a new word for that.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, we're inventing vocabulary.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think so. VR is here to stay, in your opinion. It's not a fad. Some people are wondering.
So I've been in the industry quite a while. I saw the 90s. There was actually even in the late 80s an effort to do VR. We got really excited. People got disappointed. I was ready to be cynical and jaded about this myself. We were just, we'll do a tech demo. It'll be great. We'll show our engine. In that process, we fell in love with it. We strongly believe that VR this time is going to be consumer accepted within the next couple of years.
Okay.
So when that happens, again, that's why we need a whole new lexicon, because there's going to be a new market right there where people are going, we want to do this thing, which is not a movie, it's not a traditional game, it's this other thing. And I mean, hardware, the evolution, the speed at which it's changing, we're certain this generation is going to be a success, and that the following iterations you're going to see in the next couple of years, you'll see these in homes across the planet. This will not be just a small niche thing.
And then obviously you guys are working with Oculus, and then Valve recently unveiled their, We've
had great conversations with them. We've had good conversations with Sony and some of the other hardware manufacturers as well, yes. Okay.
I mean, is it difficult trying to port your experiences from one headset to the next, or like what are the challenges?
We're in the process of figuring that out ourselves, right? So we did this demonstration in partnership with Oculus, and we solved a lot of our learning pains about how to take our engine and how to use the tricks and the things that you do to create an interesting environment for a game are a little bit different than the tricks you need for a VR experience, I guess I'll call it. So we've learned those things. We've done it with one manufacturer at this point. Our conversations over the last couple of days have been fantastic, and so the other hardware manufacturers have all decided that they want to send us some kits to see how this transfers over as well. They really like the experience. So in the next few weeks, we'll have answers to how long does it take, what does it take. We'll document all of that. We'll share our lessons as we go forward. Our eventual goal, of course, is to put this all back into the engine, because CryEngine should be on all platforms.
Okay, I know you guys are, speaking of going back to CryEngine, I know you guys are doing a lot of stuff to optimize your engine to run on more modest computers, and hell, you guys even have it running on NVIDIA's
on the Shield.
Yeah, Tegra GPU.
The X1 chip, super powerful, amazing. I'm blown away by this. When we started working with them, with NVIDIA on this, I was a little skeptical that we'd be able to get Crysis 3 running at 30 frames and higher. You know, I didn't think that would be possible because it's such a small form device, right? I just didn't anticipate it. Fantastic, it looks great, it runs smoothly, and if we were to port the entire game, I have no doubt that we'd have the entire product running fantastically on that platform. Really surprised us, very happy for NVIDIA. I think they've done a great job on it. It's some incredible hardware.
Okay. You know, going back to VR and the desktop side, is it, like, a lot of our readers want to know, what am I going to have in my system to be able to run VR comfortably? And I feel like there's a lot of wiggle room there, right? It depends what setting you want to play at.
And the content. I mean, our engine and our teams are famous for creating, you know, the top level visualization, right? We want to make this as beautiful as possible. We've had the ability to scale that down by turning things off. In VR, we don't yet know what that means. This is also, the content side of this is this is the gold rush, this is the frontier, this is the new experience. So I don't know what specs people are going to have. I think the first adopters are going to get the best experience on a higher end hardware, higher end graphics cards. Definitely over the next couple of years, you're going to see iterative approaches to this, where we're going to see more power, also improvements in how we render and scale. But for a good VR experience, you have to hit really good frame rates.
Right. Like, well, you know, seems like Oculus Crescent Bay is targeting 90, Valve is targeting 90.
Yeah, 90 is. We found in our experimentation that 90 is a really good sweet. If you can stay above 90, that's fantastic. And we were running between 90 and 105 out there on the floor. And it's, you know, you get none of the nausea that comes when you have latency between what you're seeing and what you're perceiving. So, yeah, I think this is going to be something that is early adopters coming in this year, next year, and then we'll see a broader consumer penetration over the next few years. But I have no doubt, you know, the whole Moore's Law thing kicks in here as well, right? Within the next generation, you're going to see chips that are going to be able to, that are specified and designed to handle the demands of these high frame rates.
As a game developer, well, first let me state that there's really no, as of right now, I guess, there's really no standard way of controlling games in VR. Nope. You know? Valve is trying to solve that, and I had a chance to try out the headset. And I think it's awesome. I think they're definitely on the.
Yes,
I think they definitely have the best solution and are certainly on the right track. Is that something that's holding you back from, like, making a game at this point, or at least announcing one? Like, you don't know how to control it, you know?
No. So yeah, we're not announcing any of our future products yet until we've got everything, all of our ducks in a row. But we strongly believe in VR. We know the controller issue. Creating an agnostic experience, a game that is not controller dependent, is part of the challenge that people have going forward. It's similar to the console versus PC control scheme, you know, debate. Can you make a game that runs well on the console and on the PC and have a good controller experience for both of them? We struggled with that for years as developers. This is the next version of that. What controller, we've done experimentation with traditional controllers in your hand. That actually feels pretty good depending upon what the game experience is. I've also experimented with Valve's double-handed approach, and I think that's got a lot of potential as well. I agree with you.
It's very good.
It's pretty cool. So we think that, you know, that will be a fantastic expansion of how VR grows. We're going to be ready to support all of the platforms that we see being viable platforms of great experiences. I'm not trying to, you know, weasel out of that. This is such a new frontier. I don't know who the winners are going to be at this point.
Gotcha.
The CryEngine is definitely going to be able to be there to support whatever solution set evolves into the best strategy. I think there'll be multiple approaches, but depending upon what people are trying to experience. Because I think you can have that passive movie experience, but with great fidelity. That requires no controller. I think the further you move towards the game side of it, the more interactivity you have in your experience, I think the more intricate your controllers become. And I think companies will evolve solution sets across that spectrum.
Should we expect Crytek to get into VR movies then?
I won't rule anything out. What we do is beautiful in fantastic environments. We do rich characterization. I think there's an obvious match between that fidelity and those experiences in VR, and we're going to explore the whole range within there. You know, we're a gaming company. Our gaming teams are obviously going to want to make games, but we are more than just a gaming company. We're an engine company, a technology company, and an experience company. We really think that there's room for us to find good answers within that entire spectrum, from the movie quality experience all the way over to games which are movie-like.
And okay, moving on, like, what would you say are the biggest challenges for you guys in developing VR games? Is it the controllers? Is it resolution? Is it response time?
Finding a standard platform, right? Everybody's right now in that rush to find out who's going to be the hardware platform solution that wins. The controller schemes themselves are changing. Having something physical in your hand. Remember when the Wii came out, there was debate over whether that was a good solution or not. Games evolved and took advantage of it. Others tried to stay away from it. I don't know what the solution set's going to be. The challenges are all of the experimentation that has to happen, and who is going to make the best, most compelling experience over the next couple of years. And we think that we can create the compelling experience. We're trying to do that agnostic of the ultimate winner in hardware and in control schemes. We think we've come up with some solutions there that we definitely want to explore, but we don't have the answers yet for all that.
Gotcha. Cool.
So it's the unknown, which is the biggest challenge.
Gotcha. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.